Good morning, Arno. Good to have you.
Good morning.
Arno Erasmus from Wonderful Citrus, joining us here at the CRI Symposium. Please introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from. You're obviously a South African born, living in America at the moment, so we might touch on that as well. So, please.
Yeah, so I'm originally from the Cape, grew up in the Cape. George was my hometown.
Okay.
And I ended up working for CRI, where I was the researcher there. And then opportunity came at Wonderful Citrus for a Postharvest Plant Pathologist. And miraculously, I got the job because it's not that simple to get a legal job in America.
Okay.
And so I'm already in Wonderful about almost 9 years.
Wow.
And it was a culture shock from a researcher point of view to start there, from coming from a place where you have a set budget and projects and kind of you know what's going to happen this season. This is the money I have. This is the projects I have to do, to a place where if you just say your advice is not all received, because anything that you say has a dollar value to it.
Yes, for sure.
It adds labor or whatever. So
Yeah, so you're playing in the big league.
yeah, or so we think. But it's at the end of the day very simple, and I just had to figure out their language, the business language.
Okay.
And that's where I come from with this whole concept of, not concept, I think this is what the business is about, the return to the grower.
Yes.
If there's no growers, there's no industry. So we're all downstream from the farm.
Yes.
And so that was a learning curve for me to, as a researcher, or as what I was kind of like an applied researcher. I'm still that, but you want to do everything. You kind of have an idealistic view of, this is what sanitation is. This is what a clean packhouse looks like. This is what a good spec looks like. But you don't realize you have to take risk. You have to push the limits. And of course, everything costs money.
Yeah.
So it needs to make sense. If I'm going to spend this money cleaning this line, what's the benefit for the business?
So where are you based in the United States?
Based in Bakersfield. I live in Bakersfield,
Okay.
and our major facilities are in Delano. We have two big
Okay.
facilities there. It's about 20 minutes drive from Bakersfield.
Okay.
So, what do you do on a typical day? What does your job entail at Wonderful?
So I care. So my job is kind of, we call ourselves the post-harvest team, and so what we oversee in a way is treatments, and then R&D.
Okay.
So if you can imagine, there's 8 pack lines and 7 pack lines in just the one facility. So all of them have a floodder, have chlorine spray, everything. So we in what's different from California to South Africa is that they pay companies to do the applications. So it's like a service to the industry or to
Okay.
So you have a contract. JBT, for instance, in our case, would supply the chemicals, but also apply them. So they do all the mixing and stuff. So my team's kind of in the middle there, overseeing that process, making sure, kind of verifying that JBT is doing what they say they are doing. And then also between ops and treatments to ensure that the treatments are applied consistently in the correct way. So it's hard to say what happens how to describe a day. It's almost easier to describe a week, but every day there's some ops happening, continuously monitoring the system by means of scorecards and things. So lots of walking around and talking.
So how long is the harvest season?
For me, it never ends, because my team service California, Texas, and Mexico.
Okay.
So you will have your main season would be from, let's say, it starts here in September with lemons, and then it goes all the way through till July, the main season, sometimes with mandarins if it's a long season, and oranges will be there in the middle somewhere. And then lemons keeps on going all year round because certain areas there have just keeps on producing lemons. And then Mexico would start actually in the summer. So it's kind of the lime season. The peak of the lime season is in the summer, so July, August. So then I go and spend more time in Mexico at our facilities there, and then Texas is there also. Texas kind of similar to California, where it's also November to May, April, May.
And most of the fruit that you or your company is producing and marketing is being marketed in the United States, or do you export as well?
No, we export, but more than 90% is domestic market.
Okay.
USA domestic. Yeah.
So you said that whatever implementations you guys do in the pack house must have some sort of return back to the grower at the end of the day, or that's the ideal.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff have you learned on that side that's not being done in South Africa that could potentially help the growers here if they look at similar kind of systems? Is there something that you've picked up?
The one thing that I learned, and I don't know if that has to do with the volume that we have. So it's here the units, the pack house units are smaller, so the amount of fruit coming to the pack house, so the fruit inventory would be quickly worked through and then sent out. So one of the biggest things I think that I would challenge anybody, even if I go to pack house, is how we use electronic grading, and how much do you push a spec? So a spec is the you get first grade fruit, second grade, third grade, and some people call it fancy choice juice or standard and then juice. So how much choicey fruit can I put in a fancy that's allowed? Because all specs have allowable defects, like some scarring, some. So with the machines nowadays, the modern machines, the thing takes about 30 pictures of every single fruit, 9 cameras. It's amazing what those electronic graders do now. So it can make a better decision than what a human can do. If you tell a poor person to stand there and say, even me, say, okay, you have these 5 things to focus on, with this sea of fruit going by.
With the sea of fruit, like you said, it's a lot.
Those machines are phenomenal.
It is phenomenal.
It's a complete revolution on its own.
Yes.
What those machines are doing. But you were here. You spoke. Your presentation was about technical tech in agriculture, in the citrus industry. We unfortunately missed your presentation. We have to confess because we were busy recording. But we'd love to hear more about that.
Okay, so let me see how I can start.
Yes.
First of all, I start with the electronic graders because that was kind of, to me, it's not really in my field, but you asked me what I'm doing, so I would walk around and see opportunity, and then kind of challenge, be devil's advocate, or because I'm South African, Afrikaans, we are like that, right? So we was like, hey, why are you just standing around there? What are you really doing?
Yes.
So hey, you say this machine can do all of these things? Now show me. No, it can't. They will always push back because, I think we challenge the status quo. And that's not just wonderful. I see it here in South Africa too. There are some pack houses that are really on top of their game with the electronic graders. But you asked about the return to growth. That's a big part where you can increase the income. And then because we have all those backlines, and you have JBT as a service company, and then you have operations, the guys that's actually managing the line. You have to. There's a maintenance team, and then there's a sanitation team. So there's a lot of different groups with their own goals.
And these are all separate companies, if I understand.
No, it's only JBT is a separate company. The rest is the partners within our business. Okay. And they're all under pressure for budget and labor. So I call them all like little kings in their castles. They all have little kingdoms. And I walk between these kingdoms. But I tried to, we tried then with maintenance, there was always a back and forth, silly things like this pump has always been broken this whole season. And then, but I did tell you, it's like this back and forth.
Okay.
And I learned quickly, like, you can't get involved in that argument. So we want to remove that whole emotion. And So here's where we use the technology with, I call it a Frankenstein. There's an app called Safety Chain. That's basically just a form app. So you can create forms and you can, so then when you walk the line, it's an app on your phone, you can say, I'm at line 1, flooded area. And then you can say, what's the issue? Flooded broken. You can put a picture on. And it sends an email to the supervisor. So we call the supervisors, I call them fruit champions. And because I think they are supposed to champion the process. So in the past, because JBT is a service company, they think all treatments are under JBT. They don't have to worry about it. Maintenance are not used to fixing treatment equipment. And so I use this form, and then it goes to Power BI, and it into a scorecard. So
it creates a record there and then
exactly.
of what the problem is.
Yeah, like a timestamp. So I know, now you can say, he did say that already 3 weeks ago, and it's still not fixed. And in the beginning, they didn't like it so much because it exposed a few things, like, there's so many things, like these flooders are always out of temperature or whatever. But every Friday we get together, all those groups, the leaders in that group, and then we just go through the scorecards. How many issues did you have? How many is resolved? How many is unresolved? And then those unresolved we can discuss, I'm struggling to find parts or whatever. And it took away the emotion. The now maintenance like that. At the beginning they didn't like it so much, but now, because it takes away the follow-up.
I suppose initially they might have felt threatened, and now it's become a tool.
Yeah. So it's funny, you're a specialist in a field, but it's more about people. The whole time I'm learning how to work with people, how to inspire people to care about the thing that I want them to care about.
You need psychology in every line of business.
Yeah, and I'm not there yet. But so that and then also in the business so I start the presentation with, how do we make money? You return to the grower. How do you improve the return? You improve the utilization. And then the packhouse can make more money if it can pack more in less time.
Yes.
So the more you pack in an hour, the better. And then so I do a lot of kind of education also as part of my job, trying to the mission is to get the people to mind the fruit, to think more about the fruit. Because they're all finance people and engineers and so on. So we always say, so how does your decision influence the fruit? And how does the fruit influence your decision? So because you can have a plan for operations and for sales and everything, and then the fruit decides different, or nature or whatever. There's a storm, there's just a bunch of small fruit, not large fruit. And so sales needs to adapt to that. Because you cannot just ignore all the small fruit that you can't sell. So they need to change their plans, for instance, as an example. So with that, and then we also have another concept that we call the 10 fruit principles. That's more I call it a grassroots campaign, where we want to just everybody to have a basic understanding of the business and fruit. So for instance, fruit principle 1 is fruit on the floor is a waste.
Yes.
So now we're trying to build scorecards and ways to measure that. So every champion has an area, and they have to every day pick up the fruit on the floor and weigh it, and we put a value to that. We know what I just go for the lowest value, third grade, and it's sometimes staggering the amount of money, or just if you say so many bins a month or so many bins in this season, we lost, because if it's on the floor, it's lost.
Yeah.
And with those optical sizes, you know exactly how many fruit went through the packhouse.
Yeah, they weigh everything before. Like we have these bin tippers that weigh the bins. Yeah, and then the sizes count every single.
So you can work back. Each fruit is, for instance, 7.5 US cents.
It's almost like that. Yeah,
you can work it back.
You can say so many. You can relate it to cartons, and you can say a carton. The value of the lowest carton in that week was $15 or whatever, and you can say 100 cartons times 15, and it starts to build up.
Yes,
you know you'll know this. The Afrikaans saying, "Om te meet is om te weet."
Yeah.
To measure is to know.
Yeah. Yes.
And that is exactly what you're saying there.
Exactly. That is exactly.
So, in terms of the wonderful company, they are a big company.
Yeah.
How much of the value chain does Wonderful have?
Oh, it's the whole chain. It's from the seed, from the rootstocks. They have nurseries, all the way to marketing, all the way to import. So we import and export. So we try to have a summer program. So yeah, it's the whole thing.
Sure.
And so it's our own fruit that we grow. Then we would be growing, farming fruit for other people. We would also then receive fruit from what we call outside growers. So marketing their fruit. So it's fully integrated.
Yes, vertically integrated.
Mm-hmm.
You were talking about the principles. You got to number one.
Yeah. So now I'm going to be tested.
Yeah, I'm listening.
So food on the floor is a waste. Overweight is a giveaway.
Yeah. See how you go. See what you can remember.
Yeah. Maintain the cold chain. First in, first out. Some of these are basic principles for any business. It's actually it's nothing new. Good scanning is good inventory. That's kind of a newer one, because nowadays you can do everything electronic. All the bins have a code, all the cartons. And so that relates to inventory. The first in, first out is about the age of the fruit in storage.
Yes.
So you really want to make sure fruit don't get too old in storage. So we track that age much better now. Some guys are doing it already by default and very well, and then there are other entities within our business that are a little bit lacking there. So now we're bringing it all together. Because a company is so big, we can take best practices from different divisions and just take it there. Good and bad is a loss. So if you have good fruit in juice, that's a loss. That has to do with the grading. Know the grade. So know for who are we packing here? Can we push a little bit here, or should we be more careful here? With Walmart, or whoever, you know your customers, and you know at what time of the year you can go a little bit and not. Because the mission about it sounds like, I think my message sounds like, oh no, we're just pushing. No, we're not. We're also working on consistency. So the grade needs to be consistent. So so you can only push so much. The thing is, it's not about pushing more than you're allowed, it's just pushing what you are allowed. So I think that's the bottom
I remember chatting to somebody about the grading machines a while ago, and they were saying that the most important thing about them is that they are way beyond our human ability to be consistent. They are consistent. You set them for a thing, they are there. They are consistent. They are not tired on a Monday morning. They are not, they're not human.
No.
They're kind of infallible.
Yeah. And it's a different skill set that you need. So they do say, we're going to just remove labor, but you're actually replacing labor. A sea of people with a few skilled people. Yeah. Because still you have to make sure the cameras are clean. You have to make sure the sensors are working, the weigh scales are working. So there's some other things that you have to look at, and I think that's where people sometimes make a mistake by thinking, I just switch it on and I walk away. And then the other thing about the fruit is it keeps on changing from one orchard to the other.
Of course.
So there's nuances and things that you have to dial in and keep an eye on. So that's where it comes to the consistency. Like, people need to focus. You want the grade to look the same, but it's coming from different growers with different issues.
So I can imagine your first day walking into the pack house in America after you went there must have been quite daunting.
Yeah, I went for my interview in the middle of summer.
Okay. Their summer or our summer?
Their summer.
Yeah.
It was brutal. 45 Celsius, wind, dust, can't see the mountains because of the pollution. So that was interesting, this big company and all these interviews. So I wasn't sure if I should take the job. But Etienne Rabe, he's my manager, and I kind of just looked at him and I thought, well, okay, if he's okay there, then this big monster probably is okay. But it doesn't look very like, you can get totally overwhelmed. If you walk in the pack house and you see just a bagger, because everything is bagged, the halos. So it's just, imagine there's 8 back lines with each of them have 4 or 5 baggers. So it's just like it looks more like a factory than a pack house that I'm used to. And the fruit falls like ping pong balls through this bagger, and it's soft citrus, and there's a lot of brushes. So coming from the South Africa, we really do handle fruit with care. That's another principle, and we care, like we are careful with the fruit, and so first you want to judge. You want like, because I'm kind of judgy, and my job is kind of to be critical. So I'm like, wow, what are you doing to the fruit and all that? And so I got a great coach in Etienne, because he kept on saying, slowly catch the monkey. He used to say that, slowly. Don't just chase the monkey, because the monkey's just going to run away. And I think what he meant by that, what I've learned afterwards, is first just get the lay of the land. First just see what's really going on here. Because everybody comes and say, we have these problems, this problem, blah, blah, blah. And then you can get all panicky. And I fell for many of that, because I'm a panic mechanic. The sky is falling, So I fell a little bit for that. But he was always there to say, slowly catch the monkey, just wait.
Wonderful to have a mentor like that.
I would not have made it if it wasn't for him.
Okay.
I probably would have been either fired or just went away and felt like a failure. Because really, he understood the culture already. He understood the business. And I think what one should tell you in any situation, if you walk into any business, a business would not be there if it's not successful. They may have problems, but you're not the savior. They are making money already. And so maybe they can make more, or maybe they have some issues. But I learned that.
So keep your mouth shut and your eyes open for a while to begin with.
Very hard for me.
Well, that's always ask a lot of questions.
Yes, ask a lot of questions. But even when you ask questions, people get offended because they wonder, like. So it was also here in South Africa. I had a level of acknowledgement of we did all the workshops, and I work hard to. I really do believe I don't do anything if it does make sense. So all my trials are actually very simple. My PhD and all those things were really actually simple. What concentration works the best? What temperature works the best? Because I like to unravel the chaos, like because there's a lot of things that in the industry that are beliefs. Oh, you have to use chlorine like this. You have to always clean like this. You have to always fumigate. But it's a good thing to do, but is it really valuable? Like, you spend time and effort on this.
And money.
Is it worth it? And what do you get from that? So I already started that here at CRI, because that's what I love about CRI. It was the best job. I still say the job that I left here was the best job on the planet.
Okay.
Because you could really just dig into issues, unravel it, and then come up with a solution with data. So I learned that from CRI, and then here, now you add the business part to it, so data and then the value of that action. And so that's why I do many little so part of my job is the R&D, but it's like, how long can a fruit stay in a dryer? Can fruit stay in a dryer before you will damage it?
So you're constantly daily doing small experiments to see how you can optimize everything.
Yeah, so we would have larger project where we say we want to figure out, let's say, some Phytophthora treatments would be a project that's going to run for the season. You're going to do a few repeats on that, testing different products against Phytophthora. But then in the moment, something happens. Oh, there's a rain breakdown now. And then we quickly put up a trial to see, is it the PAA? Is it the temperature? Is it you do little small trials while you have the moment, while RBD, rain breakdown, is there. So that, for me, I like that because I don't like routine. I'm more an initiator, I'm not a finisher. Some of my previous managers would say that. So it take me very long to finish something. I like starting something. So that's where my team is great, because they help me finish it. But
we all have our pluses and minuses, and then if you know about it up front and you tell people, that will help you finish things.
Yeah.
So how has your settling into life in the United States been?
It has been not always easy, because the culture is different, and the language, even English, even their English is different than South African English, and so the meaning of words and all that. But
Yeah, Louise ordered pizza while we were there, and she said to the lady, "Can we have some rocket on the pizza?" And it's like,
Yes.
what?
That sounds like a rocket that's going to go up. Yeah, it's true. I changed my name at Starbucks to Hugo because Arno, no Arno. No, now Starbucks too expensive. I'm not going anymore. So my wife, part of the main reason why we took the opportunity was that my wife had now the opportunity to homeschool.
Okay.
So she was trying here in South Africa to find a half-day type job setups here. I was very flexible with me, but at the end, three kids. So either, I mean, probably one can do something else as well, right? So there's no me thinking back in hindsight. But the main reason was this created an opportunity where I could do my job that I love, because very similar to the CRI job, and Ansa didn't have to work, and she could homeschool, and we will never look back at that. So that made it easier to adapt because they're at home all day, and we speak our language still at home.
Okay.
My kids have a way stronger Afrikaans accent than I have. Like they are very, very, very Afrikaans. But because of the homeschool, so much more you can do with homeschool, but we don't have to talk about that now. But
yes, for sure. I hear what you say.
The miracle was that I would have thought in California that would be highly regulated, because California is very regulated in everything. And that thing is the least regulated. You just register the school and there you go.
Okay.
So now they're going to college, so that's the test, and they're doing really, really well in college. So my wife did really great. But I think she enjoyed it very much to be able, it's a privilege, to be able to spend that time with your kids. It's a privilege.
It's a massive commitment to be there, to be your kids' teacher.
Yeah.
Last question is, I was on my way to saying we are at the CRI symposium. How have you enjoyed it, and especially compared to what you probably experience in the United States with the citrus industry there? Have you got any kind of comment or?
I can honestly tell you there is nothing like the citrus industry of South Africa. There's nothing like how they are organized with the CRI, the CGA. This whole symposium is very unique out there. It's one of the best symposiums in the world. All citrus, everybody together, very well organized. And so I was last at the symposium in 2014, so 10 years ago, I think. And it just grew in excellence. And yeah, so this is worth it to do a 36-hour trip just to come and attend this. And so I'm really grateful for the invitation and that they brought me over here, and I'm learning more. Just for me to go and walk in the pack houses, and so I'm saying that the citrus, I guess across the world, citrus people are I find them, I guess maybe in the apple world, I don't know, but in the citrus world, everybody's obsessed about what they're doing. Whatever your angle is, we can talk citrus all day long. And that's what I like about the citrus industry. And I find the South Africans are very much like that. And then that's the touch point with America, with the wonderful company where I work. The president of the company says we are citrus nerds. That's basically what I was. If you're not a nerd, if you're not obsessed, like if we're gonna go out for a drink or we're gonna have, and you get bored with us talking about citrus, then that's probably not the company for you. You want to say you have a balanced life, whatever? No, citrus. We want to
love it.
What are the things that we can improve on? What are the things that you just get excited about something?
Yeah.
And
so obviously the symposium has been an incredible inspiration for you.
Yeah, but even just
absolutely.
If you walk in the dining room area,
yes,
there was a big fight with Driekus du Plessis on the weekend. Everybody was happy for like half an hour, and then it went back to citrus.
Yes.
Yeah, and also the one thing about South Africa, as a student when I started, this was so great for my master's degree. I had to do a survey in the industry. That's the best way to get to know the industry. Mm-hmm. So I had to go and measure all the dip tanks, like time in the dip. Very basic, but what's the average time in a dip tank? What type of wax do they use? I had to do this survey. Only one packhouse had I had a weird moment where they say, what happens here stays here. The rest were like, oh, no, tell me what you see. Tell me.
Yeah.
Most of them say, "Tell me what you see. What are we doing wrong? Where can we improve?" And I have always experienced that, except for that one pack house, and I've been to almost
Hundreds.
all of them.
Arno, thank you very, very much. This has
you.
been very interesting, and we've really enjoyed chatting to you. Safe travels back, and yes, keep wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.